All right. So trying this out, seeing if maybe you guys like to see this kind of stuff where I do like little reaction videos to other videos and stuff on YouTube. I play DJ instead of Maestro. And we are gonna check out the pre-fight, tail of the tape between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. And we're gonna see if it's if the hype, or not the hype, but like more like what the details are. I'm going to talk about it a little bit, and I'm going to give my 2 cents. Who am I? Man, I'm a four-time world. I'm nobody. I'm zero time. I never won local nothing. I did one BJJ tournament and I got gold, but I also lost twice. And yeah, I'm nobody, but this is just my opinion, bro. So I don't know. Maybe you guys want to hear this. I don't know. But let's talk about it. I do go to a gym with a lot of UFC fighters, and a lot of world champs in everything, wrestling and BJJ and boxing and Muay Thai and all this stuff. A lot of champs from all over, many disciplines and different parts of the world, and people you see in the octagon, bro. Like I see them. I'm training. I'm working out. You know what I mean? And you're right next to them. You know what I mean? And they're in my classes, and I roll with some of them and stuff like that. It's cool, man. It's hella cool. It's like a super big privilege to be able to just even have a gym like that. And it's Uriah Faber's Ultimate Fitness. Uriah Faber is the head coach there, and he teaches us regular folks in the the evening classes and the morning classes, midday classes, all of that. You know what I mean? Then you got Dustin Akbari, you got Bopo Joseph, Joseph Morales, you got number of people. Man, we had Samson Saucer for a long time. We had sometimes Mike Malott would drop in and teach some stuff, and different guests will come and teach and whatnot. And we got a bunch of people sitting around. Like when you're in your class, when they go 1, 2, 3, clap, like the people clapping at my class, bro, is freaking nuts. It's like surreal to see that. You know what I mean? Look up Team Alpha Male, and you'll see the men and women that are absolute killer assassins that train there. And so, having been going there for like 2.5 years and training there and getting my butt whooped all the time, I learned a little bit. So, you know what I mean? I'm gonna try to bring a little bit of that knowledge to what I'm looking at here on this little tail of the tape with Tyson versus Jake Paul.
One more time entertain people. He's a fighter, but he likes to entertain people. It is what he fight for. He fight for all those people that he can see in the street. The people come to him and say, "You are the people's champ." So this is really motivate him to be in the gym from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. every single day.
Physically, Tyson has adopted a regimen focusing on high-intensity interval training and mobility exercises to
Sorry, I'm
ensure he's
still
in
trying to
peak
figure
shape.
this whole
His
thing out.
stamina has been boosted
What
with
the heck?
endurance circuits and cardio drills aimed at preparing him for the fast-paced exchanges expected in the ring. Even as the
My
oldest
bad,
competitor in the
Hold
fight,
on, man.
Tyson is showing
Trying to figure this
remarkable
out.
adaptability,
Oh, there
leveraging
it
training
is.
tactics from his prime while incorporating updated techniques to accommodate his age.
Expect the biggest fight of the history. Why? Because we talk about Mike
Here we go.
Tyson.
Here we go. Here we
We
go.
talk
Here we
about
go.
Netflix.
I know you guys are probably hearing it,
live on
but
it.
I
This
can
is
hear it.
really motivate him to be in the gym from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. every single day.
Physically, Tyson has adopted a regimen
Those are
focusing
long
on
hours.
high-intensity
Hey, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Let me tell you, not even all of the UFC fighters are doing that. 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. During a fight camp, they may have like between 3 and 5 types of sessions in a day. They're definitely not at the gym for that long. Not that I've seen anyway, and I've seen a lot of it. But 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. is a long day. It's a very long day. If you're in fight camp, you might do that though. But on the regular, probably not. You know what I mean? Um, and that's a lot, man. That's a long day. That's a lot of training, right? Another thing that he mentioned, which I want to play back here.
In the gym from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. every single day.
Physically, Tyson has adopted a regimen focusing on high-intensity interval training and mobility exercises to ensure he's in peak shape. His stamina has been boosted with endurance circuits and cardio drills aimed at preparing him for the fast-paced exchanges expected in the ring. Even as the oldest competitor in the fight, Tyson is showing remarkable adaptability, leveraging training tactics from his prime while incorporating updated techniques to accommodate his age.
Expect the biggest
Look, hit training, high intensity interval training. Like, all right, I do that twice a week. We have a class called Pulse that Iramar teaches, and she's a monster. It's like literally, yo, high intensity interval training, especially that Pulse class that we do. It's like she's trying to kill you with a workout. Okay, she's trying to kill you with a workout. If you're alive at the end of her workout, then she's like, oh, she feels like she failed because she's trying to murder you. It's a grueling workout. If you really try, like you give it 100% ever. I know Tyson is the kind of guy that's given 110, 150% effort. I mean, it's just who he is. You know what I mean? He's trying his hard. You tell him to do something, he's like, yeah, all right. And he do 500 push-ups, and then 500 push-ups, boom, just like that. He's doing it. He's struggling. He's pushing. Maybe he doesn't do the whole 500 straight through and all that, but he's doing it though. He's doing it right. And hit training, if you want endurance, do hit training. I had stupid. I had no gas when I first got to the gym, and I was training. I'm running. I'm like, here's my day, right? I get to the gym. I do strength training. I try to run. Then I do some kind of striking class. Like at the time, I was doing boxing, then BJJ, or I do Muay Thai, then BJJ, and I was doing that 4 days a week. So one day, my wife, who also goes to the gym with us, and she pulls me to the side and she's like, "Yo, you got to do pulse. Like, you just have to do it." And I was like, come on, man. I thought it was like a little soccer mom class. Like, my wife is doing it. You know what I mean? My wife is doing it, right? So I was like, whatever. I'll skip boxing, fine, and I'll go do pulse. So I go do it, and I wanted to die, bro. I was like, man, I don't want to. Breathing sucks right now. You know what I mean? That's how bad it was. And so then I decided I'm gonna do it twice a week. You know what I mean? Like I was like, yo, I'm doing this twice a week now because this is ridiculous. How am I not how have I not been doing this, this whole time? So now I did it twice a week, probably from like 2 months in. So I've been going for 2.5 years. I started from 2 months in, and I started going from there every Monday and Wednesday. I'm in post class and I'm getting murdered by a workout. And then I go do BJJ after, right? And in post class, you also have like some boxing bag work for half of the class, right? So it's not like I'm not doing any striking. I'm still getting a ton of striking in. And Iramar got stupid hands, so she's like trying to crisp up my movements and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, man, hit like if you want to get your endurance up, hit, hit will do it. Do it for an hour, 2, 3 times a week, man. If he's doing a lot of that, he's probably gonna have really good gas.
fight of the history. Why? Because we talk about Mike Tyson. We talk about Netflix, live on Netflix, something that never had before. Things like that you just can do with name like Mike Tyson.
Knowing
I wonder how much it costs. I gotta look that up.
that Paul is nearly 3 decades his junior, Tyson and his team have been meticulously strategizing. Tyson's focus has been on sharpening his signature moves, the powerful body shots and quick head combinations that once made him one of the most feared boxers in the world. However, his team has also been working on defensive drills to help avoid Paul's reach and youthful agility.
Bruh, there's no additional Netflix subscription. I mean, there's no additional money. You just need a Netflix subscription. They have probably poured dummy money into this fight. You know what? Like when it first dropped, I was like disappointed because I wanted Jake Paul to get his ass whooped by Anderson Silva, and then I wanted it to happen by, Nate Diaz. And I think obviously was if it was MMA, like no question, they both would have got their. I mean, they both would have whooped his ass. But because it's boxing, it's different. MMA guys go into the boxing world usually does not have very good results. It has a track record of having very bad results actually. And you know, I thought when Tyson took this fight, it's kind of like, it's kind of late in the game and all that. But here's my two theories on it. One, if it's legit, you know, may the best man win. Everybody's right. Like Jake Paul should do the thing. You know what I mean? But at the same time, we are talking about Mike Tyson. Like, you can't really look at Tyson on paper. You know what I'm saying? Like you look at Jake Paul on paper, Jake Paul versus Tyson on paper. You know what I mean? Like it does favor Paul like quite a bit. But when you're talking about like, yo, it's Mike Tyson. And if Mike has the training camp that he's been having, and is really ready, I don't know, bro. I don't know. This is a different type of cat. It's not your typical fighter at all, And Nate Diaz, not your typical cat. Anderson Silva, like for sure, not your typical cat, right? But Tyson was a boxer, not an MMA guy. You know what I mean? MMA, like, imagine if MMA fighters didn't have to learn wrestling and judo and jujitsu, you know what I'm saying? And Muay Thai, right? And they just had to box, right? So that's like 4 extra um, schools of thought that they don't have to devote time to learning, right? Curriculums that they don't have to devote time to learning. Like imagine if you went to school and all you needed to know was math. Like you didn't have to know how to read, you didn't have to know social studies, you didn't have to know science, you didn't have to know art, right? Like you just had to know math. That's it. That's all you needed in all of life. And then you did it for like 20 years, right? You'd probably be a monster at math. But if you took that same 20 years and you had to divide it amongst all these things, like obviously this is not this one subject is not going to be as sharp as it could have been if you just did that for 20 years. But with Mike, like that's all he did. He didn't do nothing else, like zero else. He just did that. So I don't know, man. But if it is a rigged fight and it's just a payday for Mike, I'm not mad at that either. Like Mike is a fighter. Fighters have very difficult careers. Like it's not like being a doctor or something. I mean, and you might have to go to that much school at the gym. You know what I mean? And you're learning anatomy because you're learning how to break that anatomy. But you know, you're you're not showing up to a building and reading. You're showing up and getting punished and dealing out punishment, right? So like, you know, fighters have very difficult careers. It's extremely hard to be a fighter. I have mad respect for all the fighters at the gym, all the fighters everywhere. Anybody trying to go pro in whatever it is you're doing, whether it's just grappling or it's just striking or it's all of it mixed together. I have tremendous respect for that because having trained myself in grappling and striking, you know, just what I do as a hobbyist is hard. Like imagine if I was trying to do it as a pro, like, oh, that'd be ridiculous. That would be insane. And the amount of commitment you got to have, the discipline you got to have, um, the positive mental attitude that you got to have, inspiration you got to carry with you, you got to emanate from you. Like that's tough, man. That's tough. You know what I'm saying, so if it is just a payday for Mike, I'm not mad. I'm really not mad at that.
Reports from inside the camp indicate that Tyson has been working on counterpunching
Those are hard
techniques,
punches.
expecting Paul to come forward aggressive. Tyson's camp wants him to exploit Jake's tendency to lunge, leaving openings that Tyson's power could exploit. Trainers have kept Tyson's sparring sessions focused on timing and movement, which will be crucial against Paul's reach advantage. The aim is to bring out a classic Tyson performance, maintaining high energy in short bursts to wear down his younger opponent.
Excellent, Mike. Excellent, Mike. You break him. Unpredictable. Exactly, Mike. Beautiful roll, Mike. Excellent. Excellent.
For both die-hard fight fans and casual viewers,
You can't really count out Jake, right? Like, he's like the villain of the fight world. You know what I mean? But it's because a lot of fighters got to go through such a grueling journey to get the things that he's getting on a silver platter. Um, but also a lot of fighters aren't funding their own fights. You know what I mean? They're not putting up their own money to do fights. Imagine if you had a fighter who had like 2-3 mil and could put it up to fill an arena and get somebody famous to fight. You know what I mean? Like that's like he kind of earned that. But and so imagine like, okay, You got me, I start fighting, and then Jake Paul starts fighting, and I am a brokey, and Jake Paul is a multi millionaire, right? So he can one, he don't have to like focus on work, you know what I mean? Like he can just not work and just do this full time. That's number one, free up hella time. Number two is then paying, 50 grand a year, 80 grand a year, 100 grand, 200 grand a year for the best trainers, right? Not just in the boxing realm, but like in the fitness side, nutrition side. Somebody who's literally like, all right, Jake, you got to go to bed at 8:04 today, and you're gonna wake up at 5:03, and then we're gonna run it, da da da, blah blah. And like literally, you don't have to think about anything. Everything is just on autopilot for you because you paying somebody else to handle all that. Yo, you'd probably be hella good, hella fast. You know what I mean? Like you'd probably be really, really good, real fast. If it's like, oh, I want to work on rolling instead of just showing up and working on rolling, like what I would have to do at the gym, and just roll by myself and like, or maybe I get a few tips in class, like, nah, Teddy, when you roll and da, da, da. And then I'd get these tips, and all these tips would come over like 20 classes, and it would take me, 3, 4 months to get all these tips. He could just say, hey, who's really good at rolling? Who's good at teaching that? Call that guy, drop 5 G's on a session and a plane ticket and hotel stay, and that guy shows up, and for a week, you know, you're you're being coached by the best coach. And in a week, you got rolls down pat because you're working on it 4, 5, 6, 8 hours in the day, just rolling. And for that week, after that week, rolling is a skill that you just picked up, right? Like, oh, I want to roll under a punch, right? I want to roll and slip. All that kind of stuff is now an acquired skill. You know what I'm saying? This is pretty likely for Jake. And whatever he wanted to work on, I want to work on a jab, like throwing that jab out there and just what do they call it? Freaking snapping that jab. You know what I mean? Not just pushing it out, snap it. Right? Give me a week with the best trainer in the world for snapping jabs. Probably wouldn't know how to snap a jab at the end of that week, bro. I'll probably be honest with you. Be honest with you. Like that's probably how it would go if I had the bread to just drop on trainers to teach me how to do stuff, right? So you can't really count Jake Paul out. Like he's got the money to buy. It's kind of like okay, you got two racers, right? And one guy has been working on his car for 30 years, 50 years maybe, or not 50, but like, yeah, 30, about 30. One guy's been working on his car for 30 years, just, just hustling up money to buy this and get this and, get that and blah, 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 and put this in and, all this stuff. And he put this in wrong, and then he had to remove everything to put it back in right and do all this stuff. And then you got another guy who just bought everything that you needed right now. They'd like roughly have the same car, so to speak. It's just the 30-year guy has like driving experience that you couldn't buy, right? And that's real big. It's huge, but it's not enough to just count out the machine that is bought right now. And that's kind of like how Jake Paul did. Whatever skill he needs to acquire, he bought it. He bought the guy who gives him the skill, gives him the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So you really can't count him out.
This matchup delivers a spectacle like no other. The clash of a legendary heavyweight champion, famous for his devastating power, with a rising star who transformed from internet sensation to fighter, is a storyline that feels straight out of a boxing fantasy. Social media is abuzz with training clips, promotional images, and fan theories, sparking conversations about whether Jake Paul's youth and reach.
Hey, it's dope that they had Cameron do that interview. That was tight. That face-off interview, that was hella dope. I like to see that, man. Shout out Killer Cam, man. Purple Haze, man, one of my favorite albums.
Encounter Tyson's wealth of experience and raw strength. However, a recent interview with Stephen A. Smith has given a glimpse into Tyson's mentality and preparations, and he has some bold words for his challenger. At 58, Mike Tyson is training with a fierce drive reminiscent of his prime, determined to prove he's still.
Yo, why do Mike gotta train with those little shorts? I mean, little tiny, tiny, itty bitty, little, extra small shorts. You know what I'm saying? Like, my boxer briefs are legit bigger than the shorts.
a formidable presence in the ring. In a recent interview, Tyson shared that he's been sparring for 8 rounds several times a week, relentlessly working to maintain both his sharpness and strength. "I feel in great condition," he told Smith, adding that he doesn't feel limited by his age. The former champ expressed confidence, stating, "I think I'm going to be able to handle the situation," alluding to his readiness to step into the ring with Paul, despite the decades separating them. Smith probed Tyson for more details, eager to learn whether the former heavyweight champion planned to take it easy on 27-year-old Paul or was gearing up for a decisive knockout. With a sharp, unwavering look, Tyson didn't hesitate, replying, "I think I'm going to hurt him, yes?" His words quickly reverberated across sports channels and social media, fueling a wave of anticipation and debate about the intensity of Tyson's tactics once the fight begins. The boxing
It's tough because the on paper, everybody's talking about on paper. Oh, you got this, 20-something-year-old guy versus a 58-year-old guy. This is not cool. This shouldn't happen. Blah blah blah. And it's you can't like just throw that out, right? Because logically, like that makes a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? That makes a lot of sense. It's this young cat who's in the prime of his physical fitness and athletic ability, and with the best trainers and all the nutrition and everything behind him, versus a 58-year-old guy who's just getting back into the game, right? Took a lot of time off and just is just getting back into it. And like it makes so much sense why you would think that this is a it's a wash. Like if Jake wins or he loses, right? He either beat up an old guy or he lost to an old guy. But Tyson's record is 50-6 with 44 knockouts. How many legitimate fights has Jake had? With real fighters. You know what I'm saying? How many legitimate fights has Jake had? I don't know. I don't know. Let me see. Let's see how many fights Jake had. He's had 7 total fights, right? 7 total fights. Who has he fought? He fought Tommy Fury, Canelo Alvarez. He fought Alvarez? No way. Did he? Let me see. Let me see his record. No way did he fight Alvarez. Bruh. What other opponents has Jake Paul faced? Yeah, Nate Diaz. Who fought Jake Paul? Let's see his record from ESPN. From ESPN. ESPN Nizzle. Let's see who he fought. He fought Mike Perry, and he won. Ryan Borland, and he won. That's tough to do. Mike Perry's a beast, bro. Mike Perry's a monster. You beat Mike Perry, that's good. Can't. That's good. That's a good one. When was that? 7/20/24. Yeah, that was good. Andre August. I don't know who that is. Nate Diaz. Tommy Fury lost. He's got one L to Tommy Fury. Anderson Silva, he won. Tyron Woodley is an MMA guy. He was really a wrestler. He's really a wrestler. Beat him twice. Ben Askren, he's really a jiu-jitsu guy. Not even a wrestler, like a jiu-jitsu guy. You know what I mean? But he's good. Ben Askren is a beast. And so is Tyron Woodley. They're both monsters. And then Nate Robinson is like, come on, bro. I'm not taking nothing away from Nate Robinson. I don't know. I think he's from New York, but. And then Ali Esson Gibb. Who's that? I don't know who that. Ali Esson Gibb. Is that Fusi Tube? Anyway, 7 fights. 7 fights compared to 50-6. So, like the analogy of the cars, roughly the same car, right? One has been built over 50 years. One just got built in the last 3-4 years. However, one driver has 50 years of drive time. You know what I mean? 50 years of drive time. That's pretty significant, I would say. And fighting is not just, it is not a game of athletic ability. And man, I learned that my first day. It is not a game of athletic ability. It's not a game of just strength or size. There's no one factor that will absolutely determine who's the winner in any hypothetical, right? Or theoretical or practical scenario. Um, it is a game of I would break it down like this, right? You got size, speed, strength, agility. Size, speed, strength, agility, innovation. I'd say knowledge and innovation, right? Not in any particular order, right? But your ingenuity, I'd say more than innovation. It's your ingenuity, um, your ability to solve a problem in real time, right? And use the tools that you have available. If you're faster than somebody, then you use the tool of speed to solve the problem of fighting him. You know what I mean? Whatever problem that is presented in front of you, you're going to use the speed and the knowledge that you have with that speed to do that. You can have a fighter who is who knows everything about the sport and what it is and like everything to do in every scenario, right? But you can have another fighter who knows one thing to do based on the tool that they have, and they could use that tool to like devastate the other guy, right? But also, like the other guy can, like for example, you could you can know what to do, but the other guy just might be too fast. You know what I mean? You could know what to do, but the other guy just might be too strong for you to do that thing. You know what I mean? And those are factors at play. But it's not often. It's not often that you have it to where the physical outweighs the mental in such a way that there's nothing that the person with the knowledge can do. It's very few times that could happen. In most scenarios, I'd say the vast majority of scenarios, the fighter with the most IQ is probably going to win because whatever problem you present to that fighter, they have the ingenuity and the focus to be able to use the tools that they have to overcome that problem, right?
Icon has been honing his skills with Brazilian coach Rafael Cordeiro, emphasizing endurance and power in his training, leaving no space for complacency. Tyson reveals that his workout routine
Why are we
remains
not seeing
strikingly
Jake
similar to
Paul
his peak
footage?
years,
Like we're barely seeing any Jake Paul sparring
featuring
footage
daily
or
sessions
training
that blend
footage.
sparring, strength training, conditioning, and tactical exercises. It's all about the basics, Tyson said. He added, "Give it everything you have 3 times a day." Although Tyson exudes confidence, he recognizes that Paul could adopt a defensive, evasive approach, using his movement to dodge Tyson's heavy blows. In a recent conversation with Mike Ducey from Fox 4 Dallas-Fort Worth, Tyson offered his insights on this possible strategy. "I don't see how he's going to fight by running all day," he said almost dismissively, implying that he's prepared to adapt and corner his opponent. Tyson's team has recently unveiled glimpses of his raw intensity in training. A few days ago, a video emerged showing the veteran delivering a crushing blow to a sparring partner, prompting Coach Cordeiro to step in and halt the session. For countless fans, this footage reinforced the notion that Tyson is taking this fight seriously, determined to prove once again why he was once regarded as the most intimidating figure in boxing. As the fight approaches in just a few days, speculation among fans is rife, not only about the outcome, but also about Tyson's future in the ring. Some are eager for a showdown with his old rival, Evander Holyfield, or even a rematch with Lennox Lewis. However, Tyson's attention remains fixed on November 15th, determined to demonstrate that he still possesses the ferocious knockout power that cemented his place in boxing history. In New
You know, like people bring up the fight against Roy Jones and how Tyson looked in there. I don't think Tyson was preparing for like a real bout with Roy, like where they want to kill each other. You know what I'm saying? Tyson, he would say it in press conferences all the time. Like it's not a fight to him; it's war. I'm trying to end your life. I'm trying to kill you, legit murder you. You know what I'm saying? And he would say that all the time in his fights, and that's how he prepared. That was his mentality going into the fight. Was that you know? Um, Man, it sucks being one of those like sparring partners with these guys in boxing in particular. In MMA, I don't think it's this way, right? In boxing, they will literally say, "Hey, I'll give you, 1,500 a week, and you're just gonna be Mike Tyson's." sparring partner. And when they do it, it's like, no, we're going 100%. Like we're doing simulating fight stuff, and we're doing it. Yo, that would suck, bro. That would suck being Tyson's sparring partner. You know what I mean? Being Tyson's sparring dummy, that would hella suck. Eating all those punches all the time, bro. Like, nah, bro. I'm cool, man.
New York, the crowd's roar was deafening as they rallied behind Tyson, their cheers reverberating through the air. When Paul took the stage, he was met with a wave of boos, his entrance drowned out by the hostility. In
villain.
stark contrast, Tyson was welcomed like a triumphant champion, his every step celebrated by the adoring fans. Paul, addressing the New York audience, told them to silence themselves and suggested they should be booing their own behavior.
And it's in New York, right? So, Tyson's from Brownsville. You know what I mean? Shout out to Brooklyn.
He then took aim at the city, likening it to Mike Tyson, claiming both were once great but had lost their edge over the years, before throwing in further jabs at
He's
the
a
city's
good showman.
reputation.
Hey, New York,
Hey, he's a good showman, man. Puts on an entertaining show. Like Jake Paul is entertaining.
shut the fuck up, New York. Hey, boo yourselves. Boo yourselves, New York. Hey, New York, New York, New York, you're just like Mike Tyson. You were good 20 years ago. F you, New York. F you.
Hey, 20 years ago, he was like 7, right? He's like 5, 20 years ago.
That's Democratic City.
During the press conference, Paul seemed visibly on edge, having made a bold statement earlier in the evening, vowing to kill Tyson. Though he acknowledged his admiration and respect for Mike Tyson, he made it clear that their friendship was over. Paul proclaimed that on November 15th, he would knock Tyson out, proving himself the true victor. He described Tyson as old and insisted he would teach him a lesson like he would a son. Tyson affirmed his readiness to fight, sharing that he's resumed training after temporarily stepping back on his doctor's advice. He confirmed the bout is set and expressed confidence in his preparation. While he admitted to a brief setback due to illness, Tyson reassured fans of his recovery and current health. He emphasized that he's fully prepared and intends to let his performance speak for itself when the fight begins. A UFC legend recently revealed the substantial payout Mike Tyson is set to receive for facing off against Jake Paul. Initially slated for July 20th at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, the highly anticipated showdown was unexpectedly postponed in June. Later that month, reports surfaced suggesting a new date, November 15th, with Netflix set to air the fight live. In a statement, co-founder of Most Valuable Promotions, Nakisa Badarian, said, "Our team has worked diligently with all parties involved to reschedule this monumental fight to a date that ensures both Jake Paul and Mike Tyson are fully prepared with equal training time, as well as allowing us to keep the event at AT&T Stadium in the midst of the Cowboys season." Bidarian further added, "We appreciate the outstanding dedication, collaboration, and flexibility of our partners at Netflix and AT&T Stadium. Paul versus Tyson is the most cross-generational sporting event in history, and we are committed to providing fans worldwide with this unforgettable night of boxing live globally on Netflix. We look forward to seeing everyone on Friday, November 15th for a showdown that will be talked about for generations to come." Paul went on to taunt Mike Tyson by making critical remarks about New York City, Tyson's hometown. At the event on Sunday, Paul thrived in the spotlight, provoking loud boos from the New York crowd as he confidently vowed to shock everyone when he and Tyson finally step into the ring. Tyson, on the other hand, kept his composure, casually answering questions from ESPN analyst Ryan Clark, who led the press conference. During their face-off, the former heavyweight champion even playfully gave Paul a gentle shove, adding a touch of humor to the tension. When asked why he would agree to a fight against Paul despite their 30-year age difference, Tyson responded, "Because I can. Who else can do it but me? Who else is he gonna fight to make this happen? We just gotta listen to the fact we got a YouTuber fighting the greatest fighter that has ever lived." The matchup has sparked
Ooh, that's the first time I ever heard Mike refer to himself like that. I know that's what he believes for sure. He's always been super humble when people compare him to Ali. He always gave Ali the flowers, you know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I think we all knew a little bit. You know what I mean? We're kind of like, yeah, I mean, okay, you being nice, Mike. You being nice, you know? But yeah, dude, this is I don't know if it's gonna be like talked about for generations to come per se, but I think right now there's a big argument from I think people who can't who don't train and people who train. People who train, which is a large community, especially in all these fight scenes, people who train are like, Jake Paul should have never, couldn't beat Tyron Woodley. I think everybody was thinking he could beat Ben Askren, but Tyron Woodley, there's no way he could beat him. Blah, 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 blah. This is the MMA. This is a real fighter. He's a real fighter, not a YouTuber. And he got beat. And here's the other thing: like, I don't know if all these fights that Jake has done are legitimate. I don't know, but bruh is gonna make a $40 million purse. Tyson's gonna get 20, and I mean he is fighting Tyson, but it's Jake Paul, right? This isn't for a championship fight, and that's how much they're making. Like that's what champions make. You know what I mean? If you want to do a championship fight in boxing, like you'll make that kind of money. And Jake is not a champion at all. So anyway, everybody was saying, nah, he's not going to be Tyron Woodley. Tyron's a real fighter, like he's an MMA fighter, right? One of the best in the world. They said the same thing about Nate Diaz and Anderson Silva. They said the same thing about like a lot of these guys, bro. A lot of these guys. They said the same exact thing. And every time they get proven wrong where he wins, which I don't know if it's legitimate or not. I don't know if it's legitimate or not. There's been a lot of questionable like tells where like Jake does the little glove thing, allegedly. Like I don't know. But the MMA, or not the MMA, but the fight scene, the fight world has been trying to wrap their head around, me included, why does Jake Paul win? Like there's no way he should be winning. He should not be winning any of this because he just hasn't put in the time that all these legends have put in, right? And then you have the non-fight world who's like, yeah, well, he beat that guy, and he beat that guy, and he beat that guy. And that's kind of like the argument to just shut everything up. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing. And the second thing is that typically from what I've seen is the fighters who are like super loud and cocky and saying all this stuff, not all the time, but a lot of the time, these are the guys that aren't sure that they're going to win, right? Like Khabib, he would always be like, when he was going with McGregor was always saying all this stuff. And that is McGregor's style, but I think McGregor might have been like talking it up to himself more than anything, right? And Khabib would just be, I don't know, November 5th, wait till December 5th. December 5th, that's it. Da, 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 da. He wouldn't say nothing else. He'd just say, yeah, we're going to fight. Tyson's doing a lot of that same stuff. He's just saying, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. November 15th. Yeah, we're going to see. Yep. All right. Well, we'll see how that is when you get in the ring with me. That's the kind of stuff he's saying. Paul he's putting on a great show. He's selling the fight, but he doesn't have to. Fight's sold. That's why you book Mike Tyson. You go get an arena and you book Drake. You don't have to sell the tickets. Drake sold the tickets for you. They're going to be sold out like that. Beyonce, her whole tour, it's going to be sold out. First hour. Taylor Swift, her whole tour, sold out in the first hour. Why? I mean, Michael Jackson, the whole world tour sold out in the first like 26 minutes, right? Every seat gone, right? And why? Because you got the big name already. Like you paid for the biggest name. The biggest name sells the tickets. You don't got to sell it no more. It's sold. It's been sold for this whole year. You know what I mean? And so all of this stuff, I don't know. I don't know if he feels insecure. Yo, there was that lie detector thing. Are they going to do it here? They're going to do it here? There was a lie detector thing that Paul was hooked up to, and man, they got Klitschko in here. Okay, all right. So we'll come back to this. Hold on, give me a second. Come back to this. Hang out with me for a little bit. I'm gonna end this video soon. We got Jake Paul lie detector.
Scene one, take one. Who's more full of shit, Logan or Jake?
All right, gentlemen, we have brought you here to take a lie detector test. We're gonna hook one of you up first and have the other ask some questions and then have you switch.
You can go first.
I'm gonna go.
Put him on the spot. All right, strap me up.
Let's go.
I have more followers than you on Instagram.
No.
Does that bother you?
No. More.
All right, wait.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
age.
You sweat a little bit.
Yeah, I don't like this.
For all the conspiracy theorists out there, is this fight rigged?
Absolutely not. That's a federal crime.
All right, here, I got one for you. That's gonna make you fucking shit your ass. Are you Ryan Garcia? Sorry. Are you on PEDs?
What do you mean by that?
Are you on performance-enhancing drugs?
If taking Viagra counts, then yes. It's performance enhancing, brother.
I'm gonna need a yes or a no.
No.
It's true.
Okay, okay.
Hey, Jake Paul, do you really think that you're
Here's the
gonna beat
one.
Mike
Here's the
Tyson?
one.
Yeah.
Oh, that didn't even sound convincing when he said it.
Ooh.
And that's what I'm.
Hello?
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm nervous.
Yeah, you're nervous.
Yeah, I would be
think
too.
I
It's
don't
Mike
know.
Tyson.
It's gonna be tough.
It's a red light,
It's
brother.
gonna be tough.
It's a red light,
Can
brother.
we cut? It's hot. Can you get the W
not hot
deodorant
at all.
and body spray, please?
What are you talking about?
Marcos? I just need to get this
You got a
deodorant.
deodorant?
This could be a show. This could be a good show. It is on their channel. This could be a show. Could be a good performance. You know? Got 1.7 million views. I just added another view to it, referring to this video. Could be a good show. Kind of looked a little performy with the sweating and all that. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Like the thing is, it is Mike Tyson. All right, like tell me this, right? Let me see. I gotta have Google give me some info. How long? And so look, an adult male lion lives for about 10 years. Okay, that's his life cycles, 10-year life cycle. Now let me ask you this. Like, so let's say 10 years is like an 80-year-old man. 10-year-old lion is like an 80-year-old man, right? Would you want to encounter a 10-year-old lion? Still a lion. It's old for sure. It's old. It's very old. It's at the end of its life. Would you want to encounter and fight and have to fend off an 80-year-old lion? Like, would you willingly jump into a scrap with an 80-year-old lion? I mean, sorry, a 10-year-old lion. I don't know. It's still a lion. You feel me? Like, that's still a lion. Like, there's this whole thing about, would you rather be trapped in the woods with a man or a bear, right? And women a lot of times pick bear. I kind of understand a little bit. But it is a bear, though. It's a bear. Like, in any scenario, you pick the bear. You're gonna have to deal with a bear. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I see this whole thing with Tyson and Paul. Look, I think I have to put. If I were a betting man, I haven't bet in many years. I used to bet a lot on a lot of kind of stuff. I used to play a lot of games, so I stopped that. But if I were to bet, I would bet on Tyson. Not because I would bet on Jake if I was going for the long shot, like the big come up. I'd bet on Jake, and if he wins, I get a major payday. But I would bet on Tyson to keep my money safe. If I needed to get that money back, if I wasn't gambling, if I wasn't trying to gamble, I'd bet on Tyson because he looks fantastic. Yo, I have rolled and sparred with old guys. I got an old guy at the gym that I do Muay Thai with, and we spar, and he's 75 years old. And if I don't stay on my P's and Q's, if I let my guard down, he'll kick my ass. His name's Dave, and he got like a really good mustache, like 80s mustache going on, and he's a monster. And he's not a big, heavy guy. You know what I mean? There's another guy, John Flolo. He hosts the Sunday services where like people come and spar in the boxing ring. Like do boxing in the boxing ring and you spar against whoever shows up, like pickup games, but boxing. And he runs that and he's a monster. Hey man, let him touch you up. Watch how you feel about that. So now we're taking two random guys who aren't, you know what I'm saying? Like they're not pro fighters. I don't know if and if John was a pro fighter before at all. He's a teacher now, you know what I mean? But then you have Mike, who has been not just a pro fighter, not just a world champ, but legitimately in the conversation for the last 30 years of being the greatest of all time. right? Legitimately, with no question, right? Undisputed in the running for greatest of all time. There's maybe him and like 2 to 3 other guys in boxing that are in the convo. Easy top 5, most likely in most people's top 3. You know what I'm saying? Especially for the heavyweight division. That's another thing. Heavyweight. It's a whole nother monster, bro. That is a whole nother monster. And you see how he moves? Like heavyweights aren't moving like that typically, man. They're just not. Even today, like they're just not moving like that. Not like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but I put my money on Tyson, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I mean, anyway, thanks for watching this video with me. If you if you want to go find the video, it's on Fighters Corner. It's Netflix uncut. Mike Tyson final day of training camp before Jake Paul fight. Yeah, man. I hope Tyson wins because I think everybody wants to see Jake Paul get his ass whooped. But also, if Mike loses, it would be like a really sad thing to see Mike Tyson lose to Jake Paul. This is like when T'Chaka gets thrown off. I mean, T'Challa gets thrown off of the thing by Killmonger, and he gets thrown off of the waterfall, and then he turns around and he's like, "This is your king? Is this your king?" You know what I mean? It's kind of like that, bro. It would be like sad. It'd be like, damn, Mike. Damn. You know? So we'll see, man. Allah willing. You know what I mean? Mike Tyson pulls this out, but we'll see. I don't know. All right, man. Thanks for checking out this whole crazy long video, man. Appreciate it. Love y'all. Peace.